Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel. Today, cryptocurrency markets are in red. We can see Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, all our coins, favorite coins are in red territory. And if we actually look at the chart for XRP, we actually discussed about this in yesterday's video, day before. Like say we were actually pointing out that there is a rising wedge. It's confirmed at this point. Say on 20th of January, where we got 1, 2 and the third touch there and the price bounced. So the support was like that. And here if you see that, you can see the resistance was also confirmed on the same day, like 19th, just a day before, say the 19th of Jan. So in that one day we got the confirmation that this is a rising wedge, and most of the time it break to the downside. So if you are a regular viewer of this channel, you would already know that this is gonna happen. See, in this video we actually discussed about that, like respect that support line, but we'll have to see what it is going to do after, because the trend line support there is looking at this one. You can actually understand this is like a rising wedge, and usually the rising wedge break to the downside, so if you guys are continuously watching the content which I am putting out, hopefully you guys will have an idea about the market. It's not like 100%, right? But this actually happens, and price action, if you are analyzing price action, that will allow you to understand the probability. You can actually stand with the probability, like you can turn the odds to your side. Now if you actually look at that, if you are shorting this market now, considering that the price broke to the downside in a shorter time frame, your target should be somewhere here. The reason for that is this is a measured move from this confirmation point of the wedge, and at this point you also have a previous resistance line which was running from last 6 months. So that will now act as a support, because you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, it was acting as a resistance from all the time unless we break about that here. So hopefully that will be acting as a support in this area, but I doubt whether we will touch the white line which I drew here is the previous support in these areas, which will be acting as a support. So if you are putting a buy order here, that may not get activated. Instead you can target this area. That will be better if you are looking to buy in at low price, or if you are taking out profits. If you're shorting, if you are looking to take out your profits, I'll say you can take some out just before this white line, say somewhere around 0.21, and then put your take profit 2 below this, so it will be okay. Now guys, we have interesting information to share with you guys today. This is from not only from Twitter but also from other sources. See, we'll actually discuss through all of them, and we'll put on our perspective, like what's actually going on. So if you're actually looking at this, there is news and updates coming into the market, flooding the market all over from from starting from Davos to the institutional news. So we'll actually discuss through all of them. Now if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, please do support the channel, hit the subscribe button, and if you like the content, please like the video. Now without delay, we'll actually move into this one. So the first one is actually from Marcus Treacher. It's showing that the macro trends are really clear. Global payment landscape is changing before our eyes, and guys, we are privileged, we can say that, say to the next generation or to the previous generation, we can actually say that, because we are say millennials or generation Z, these guys, 2 generations, are actually experiencing something which only happens once in a century, or in 200 years or 500 years. So when this is happening, you actually have an opportunity to invest and to get a return on your investment, which will be life changing. So if you guys are actually looking clearly, you'll actually know what's going to happen. If you are actually following all the news, say the fundamentals, then you actually know that the stones actually have been laid out. So the foundation is already built. Now it's just mooning, as those you usually used to quote based on the price action. But if we have a proper foundation, then yes, the price can actually go much high considering the utility. Now this is the next one from the coinrepublic.com. It's showing Ripple powering small medium enterprises to further the growth of cryptocurrencies and blockchain. So if you're actually looking at that, we can actually now understand now it's not Ripple, it's XRP used in Bitpay transaction due to integration with Xspring, bringing the third largest cryptocurrency to a broad audience of customers globally. Now, if you look at that, what you can understand is they're actually working that with 300 financial institutions across 70 countries. So that's kind of a big deal. If you actually look at it on a positive scenario, you'll understand, because if you were in the market, say 1 year or 2 years before, there were a lot of naysayers who were directly saying, no one is going to use XRP, they'll only use Xcurrent, they'll only use XY, they won't be using Xrapid or the platform in which we use XRP. Now, yes, there has been a change. The name Xrapid is not there now. They rebranded it and named it as on-demand liquidity. And now they're using on-demand liquidity. They are not using Xrapid, right? But still, anyway, they actually use Xrapid or XRP in the same manner. Because the digital asset being transacted there is XRP. Now there's the next one from @RebORN13 showing that all of the below has happened in last 24 hours. Wake up. So if you haven't woke up, you have to, because the news is like that way. Because in our yesterday's video, we actually discussed about Buck coming up with a platform which is something similar like PayPal. We know how easy it is to use PayPal, even though the fees is a bit high. Now, yeah, depending upon where you are from, I don't know how you look at that. But as an Indian, as an Indian living outside India, when I send back money to my home country, it's cost me a lot. Say if I'm not using Ripple partners, it really costs me a lot. For example, now I'm using SendB, a Ripple partner, which just takes like $2 for a transaction, and it reaches, say, within 10 minutes. I get the message from my home country that the money has reached already. So I'm happy about that. Anyway, this one is like Deutsche Bank announced ready to go live with DLT, distributor ledger. Ripple officially announced new Euro USD on-demand liquidity corridors. And at the same time, what you have to think is, we actually discussed maybe 1 week, within this last week, we discussed about a guy from the European Union talking about the money is actually trapped in the Nostro-Vostro accounts, right? So if they are actually talking about this, they have already, laid all the path for this. They understood how this can be used and what benefits can be achieved for the financial institutions. Now, the next one is Central Bank Digital Currency Policy Toolkit mentions Ripple and XRP. Why is it? Say this is just a startup company, right, from San Francisco, and they are being mentioned in central bank reports when it is connecting to the central bank digital currencies. It's not only in one country, right? If you look at Europe, if you look at Japan, if you look at England, they are actually talking about this. So something is going to change. And there was a recent news from Davos about, from BIS, that's Bank of International Settlements. They announced like cross-border payments is a top priority. So you have to actually concentrate on this, because there's a lot of friction in that particular arena, creating high fees, and the end customer is actually paying for that. Now BitMEX adds XRP USD swap. PayPal announced global partnership with UnionPay. UnionPay announced network expansion to 178 countries. Temenos launched toolkit to help banks to go fully digital within 90 days. Just 3 months. MoneyGram launched account deposits in Egypt. So if you actually try to read through the lines or connect the dots, you'll understand there is something going on and it's going to change quickly. Now this is a tweet from Grayscale. Now yes, it's not like 100% everything they invest in is XRP, but what I have to talk to you guys is like, say for example, Grayscale is an investment group, and they are like conducting more investment into Bitcoin than all other coins, but they do have a position for XRP, right? If you look at that, yeah, it's okay. They still believe in that asset, but not like, for example, in my portfolio, it's like 70% XRP, 25% is only allocated for the rest. Say the other projects in which I believe, like Ether or even the traditional financial safe haven asset, gold and all. So anyway, if this is actually happening, what you have to understand is the opportunity of 21st century is actually wide open. If you guys want to put a bit of your income into that, that will be you'll get a ROI of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 50,000%. We don't know what will happen, but if you look at the price history, that's actually possible. Now, yes, I'm talking about this from previous charts, and this is just my opinion based on the charts. Now, the next news is actually from Cointelegraph, and it actually shows Securities Regulator of India bets on blockchain. Now, yeah, as an Indian, I'm really getting confused, or just I'm angry myself for my politicians and those who work in this, because a bit back they were talking like we are going to ban crypto. After that, they told no, crypto is not actually banned, but you can actually use. No financial institutions can offer you services related to cryptocurrencies. So it doesn't actually make sense, right? It's kind of banned itself. It doesn't actually make sense. So it's kind of a drama going on there. But if you actually read through what they have to say, it's like blockchain could be used in clearing and settlement and record keeping, given its benefit in maintaining records in distributed ledger, while still being a single source of truth. So that's the point which I want to highlight. They are actually showing like it's still confusing, nothing is clear yet. It's they're making it as a drama, but behind the scene, what you have to understand is the number of Ripple partner, or the number of banks who are already in RippleNet. For example, Federal Bank, they are already in RippleNet. Yes Bank, Axis Bank. So if you actually look at financial institutions, regulated financial institutions like banks in India going into RippleNet, that's actually gigantic news, which is trying to be covered up with the issue of cryptocurrencies. They just say cryptocurrencies is not allowed. Okay, don't worry, because see, if they are considering XRP as a commodity or a digital asset as a commodity, then it's okay. They'll only allow XRP because of its use case. So even if that's gonna happen, now that's my speculation, because companies like Tata, which is multinational company working all around the world and bringing in money to India, they are jumping into this, right? Kotak Mahindra Bank, Mahindra Group is also a gigantic group, right? So they are all betting on Ripple and its technology. So of course the government can't actually deny that. If they do, these companies will actually go to another country for sure, because all they care about is their growth, right? But yeah, about Tata, I won't say that. They care a lot about their country. So yeah, okay, there can be discussions or argument in that arena. But yeah, the next thing here is blockchain-based solutions are being developed by some foreign exchanges for settlement and by domestic exchanges for KYC record-keeping purpose. There is a need for active research into these technologies to explore their best possible usage in securities market. Now, did we actually listen to this somewhere else, talking about securities market, trading these things on where? In RippleNet, right? So you need a bridge asset. So at the same time, what you have to understand is this is a perspective laid out from India, right? Blockchain-based solutions are being developed by some foreign exchanges for settlement and by domestic exchanges for KYC record keeping. So if I say that, they are not that high educated for blockchain or the technology, those writers from there. But what I can say is the news which they get from there, they are looking at exchanges, okay, foreign exchange. If you look at the Ripple transaction, say US to Mexico, you can actually see that the money or the value is being transferred between those exchanges, right? So the settlement happens between exchanges. And it's the domestic exchange which do the record keeping. So it's okay, it's cool. So for me, I personally consider that they are actually high on Ripple and its digital asset. Now there's the next one from the modern portfolio, and it's actually discussing about how you should actually allocate digital assets. So now, like, new asset class are rare and powerful because they offer a unique return stream that can diversify a portfolio. This might seem like a simple concept, but few investors truly appreciate the impact this can have on the return risk profile of a portfolio. Because yeah, if you have an asset which is non-correlated to all other assets, which is available in the market, then you should be looking at it, because in the time of crisis, you'll have to put some kind of asset which is not correlated to others. So if you look at the return on investment for Bitcoin this year, it's not that bad. Yeah, I completely agree that XRP didn't go up much, but yeah, good thing come for those who wait. That's what I think. And for Ripple, considering its use case, I'll repeat that patience is key. Now, Western Union is partnering with global telecommunications firm Bharti Airtel for global money transfers across emerging markets in Africa and India. Western Union announced on Wednesday that the partnership with Airtel Africa will allow 15 million Airtel Money mobile wallets users in Nigeria, Uganda, all these areas to route any money transfer received from across the world into their mobile e-wallets. So yes, you can see that the fintech is actually changing this landscape. Like, our platform offers multiple channel choice for our customers and the customers of our partners, including banks, financial institutions, telecom and fintech players. Noted, we applaud Airtel for their global vision and anticipating and leading change in the global digital landscape. Everything is gonna go digital. So if they are not in the train, I'll say that they can actually try to compete, but I don't think the settlement can be done like Ripple do, because I think the technology which they brought out is actually valid for next 20-30 years until someone else come with something even better than this, considering the time, cost, everything. No one can actually beat the technology at present. That's for sure. Now, yes, if you are someone from Ethereum or Bitcoin, you'll have an entirely different opinion. But I'll say, brother or sister, you should actually consider the technology, right? How long it takes to settle. What is the cost per transaction? How many partners do you guys actually have in terms of regulated institutions like financial providers, banks and all? So yeah, that's a different perspective. Now, this next one from CNBC, the news from Davos 2020. Calls for US digital dollar rise, a China power ahead with a digital yuan. So, when countries like China, Singapore, Indonesia, Japan and others are coming up with their digital currencies, US won't actually fall behind, that's for sure. Yeah, maybe things are happening behind the screen, they are not letting the news out. Or if they are working with institutions, they will be having NDAs. So the non-disclosure agreements will be put in place so that the news is not going out. So, the common man doesn't know anything. And when the price just bombards, then everyone will be like, I missed the boat. So, at that point, there's no sense in doing that. Now, in the case for the digital dollar, if US dollar remains an analog currency, the challenges of using it in a digital world is like very complex, right? So if everything goes digital, central banks are using the digital currency and you still have an fiat paper currency for dollar, it will be really hard to communicate with other banks. So US may lose its current position as a global player with that SWIFT system, that antique system. Yeah, even though Ripple, when we say it's a company from San Francisco, US based institution, still they can't actually stop any transaction which is going on because the validators counts, right? The percentage of validators which Ripple own is really minute considering the entire validators. Now, there's the next one from Bitcoinist.com showing showtime for XRP. Bank of International Settlement Executive calls cross-border payments a top priority. And as they talked, they actually mentioned about, cross-border settlements, reducing the friction, improving the cost, blah, blah, blah. All of this can be achieved from RippleNet. So if you guys want to read through this, it's actually from Bitcoinist.com, and you can actually... I'll actually put this one in my description if you guys want to read through that, because I think the heading itself is actually self-explanatory, and we actually came through a tweet in which we discussed that. So now the next one is like, there is a news that Ripple is going for IPO. So if that's gonna happen, we in the XRP community may have a doubt whether it's gonna compete against our XRP. Now, yes, some can actually think that it's going to happen because Ripple as a company has a lot of partners and their shares are being traded, and there are individuals like say from Grayscale even have talked about, we are not sure about XRP, but we are an investor on XRP Ripple. So that makes some kind of sense. Those who don't understand the technology, or those who don't want to understand the technology, will be looking at Ripple the company instead of XRP. But yes, personally I'll say those guys are fool. Now yes, it's my opinion, but the reason which I say it so is, I can justify it like Ripple the company is actually relying on XRP. They're betting on XRP that in future the value of that digital asset will skyrocket, because they believe that use case is the key for the value of the settlement, value of the digital asset. So if it is used for a settlement use case, then for sure the value will rise. It may take some time, but these guys are not actually looking at 1 year, 2 years, so they are looking in long term. So that's gonna happen in say 5 years or 10 years. But if you wait, that's gonna happen. But say if it's gonna happen in 1 year or 2 years, and you are gonna miss the boat by just taking out the losses or taking out a bit of profit and going out, then it doesn't make sense, right? You came into this as an investor, then you should be waiting. If you came in as a trader, then yeah, it's completely up to you. Now guys, that's all for today, and I would like to request you guys again, if you guys like the content I provide on a regular basis, please do subscribe to the channel. That supports the channel a lot. As a new channel, I'm requesting you guys again, please do like the content, do subscribe to the channel. I'll meet you guys on the next one. Bye for now.